Hello and welcome to another Johnny Blender series. This one's going to be part 5, and in this part we're going to be creating not a superhero human type of character, but we're going to be creating an animal. So we're going to make a dog, and going with the J themed, I think a Jack Russell Terrier dog would be the way to go. So be, instead of Johnny Blender, be Jacky Blender or something like that. So anyways, go and turn on my screencast keys, starting with the default cube. Let's just go ahead and jump in here and get started. So we'll tab into edit mode, W, and subdivide, and let's give it 3 cuts, and then we'll deselect everything and then select all these guys there on the left side, all those vertices, and go ahead and hit delete. So we cut it in half, and then we'll go ahead and add the old mirror modifier, boom, right there, and go ahead and turn on clipping. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and add the subdivision surface, and go ahead and give it subdivisions of 2. So now let's go ahead and tab out of edit mode and come over here to our shading and say smooth, so it's nice and smooth. Okay, so now let's start working on the basic shape of the head. Now I'm going to kind of give it a cartoonish look as usual. Going to turn on proportional editing there, but also not too cartoonish, but I want to give it kind of a puppy look as well. So kind of a cartoonish puppy Jack Russell Terrier. So the basic layout for the head that I'm going to shape in here is going to kind of look humanistic, but we'll modify it to where it's more canine type, more animals. So we'll just get the basics going, like I'm doing right now. We're just getting the basic shape of the head, maybe everything a little bit flatter. Scale that on the Z-axis. Okay, bring that in. And so the muzzle, the nose and mouth snout area is going to come off of right here. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, it's going to be kind of humanistic. Go ahead and start revising the topology before I go ahead and extrude that out. So got that the way we want, and now let's go ahead and extrude this out and scale it way down, way out to here, and this is going to be the mouth, and we'll add the nose into the loops here. It looks kind of funny now, but don't worry, we'll get there. So scale it on the x-axis a little bit, and then drag it towards itself. And let's make that a little wider right there. There we go. Okay, so we'll grab those 4 again, and go ahead and hit E to extrude one more time. Let's go ahead and turn off our proportional editing for now. Go ahead and scale that down. And we'll go ahead and extrude in. And this will be obviously the mouth area. Go ahead and extrude one more time. Okay, so kind of got the mouth the way we're wanting for the most part. Just the basic general shape. Now, like I said, we're going to add the nose into this area up here. So I'm going to just add a few loops in here. 3 probably will be fine for now. Just go ahead and click in there to lock it in. And then we'll grab our vertex select mode. And let's just drag these out. The reason I'm doing it like this, I mean, there's obviously more than one way to do things. But in case we want to, give him the anthropomorphic the humanistic qualities and have him be able to talk or make certain expressions that a normal dog wouldn't be able to make. We want to give his face as humanly, as much as humanistic topology as we can, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna have the somewhat correct topology there around the mouth and everything, so we can use the cheeks and everything like that. Okay, so you kind of see it starting to take shape here. Let's go ahead and just start dragging these out a little bit more. And one thing about dogs is they don't have a lot of upper lip. Like, they have the lower lip and the jaw and everything like that. But as far as their upper lip goes, it's pretty much almost just the nose. So let's kind of get ready for that. Let's grab these vertices there, and we'll just go ahead and extrude that out and rotate it. So maybe scale it down just a bit, and this will be his nose. So we'll scale that up, go go ahead and add a loop in here. And then maybe one more loop in between those two. And scale it down so we have a nice separation there between the nose and the face. If we tab out, you can see it there. Okay. And let's make it a little skinnier because, well, let's make his whole head a little skinnier actually. So we'll just scale it on the x-axis and then drag it towards itself like so. Okay, so you can kind of see it starting to look like a dog, a cartoonish dog maybe, something from Disney or something. DuckTales, the Beagles, whatever. It's been too long since I saw that. So let's give it kind of the cleft palate there, the kind of the separation there between the top lip. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, and let's add one more loop right there. Give it a nice sharp edge on the outside too. And I don't like the edge all the way around. I just want it on the top basically. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into sculpt mode. Grab the O smooth tool right there. And just gently run that along the edge. So there we go. And now it looks like it might be a little too sharp. So let's go back into edit mode there. And let's drag these guys down about like so. Maybe shape this up a little bit better. Okay, so that's looking all right. Now let's go ahead and start kind of shaping everything else to look a little bit better. I'd like to go ahead and give him some cheekbones, as it were. And tell you what, let's just go ahead and create his eye sockets. Going to do that on this guy here, but I want it to be bigger. So let's grab our vertices and just drag those two there in. Just make that a little bit bigger, like so. And tell you what, let's go ahead and add one loop there. So we have a little bit more round of an edge, and then we'll add one loop there, so we can round it off at the top. And then also gives us more flexibility on the mouth area as well. Let's grab these. And one trick, as many of you mentioned in the Johnny Blender 4000 series, usually I would grab the edges that I want and go W. Or what was it? Control E, edge slide. But apparently, if you hit G twice, it does the same thing. So just hit G twice, and you can do the edge slide without having to go through the Control E menu. So there we go. It's one thing. If you guys have tips like that, feel free to let me know, because some of them, there's so many, and there's some of them I don't know of. So if you know of them already, feel free to let me know. Get this shaped up a little bit better there. Okay, let's grab the corners of the mouth and drag those a little further back. Let's go ahead and turn on our proportional editing again. Drag those further back. As we all know, dogs have long mouths, so let's get his chin. Drag that up here. Okay, I want to grab this edge here and GG, drag that back, and maybe give him a little bit more defined chin right there. And you can spend as long as you want kind of shaping this to kind of get the look you're going for. You may not want a cartoon style dog. You might want a realistic dog if you're of a mind. So just, this, as I've said before, the way I do things isn't the definitive way to do them. It's just one way, It's the one way that I do them. There's a bunch of different ways to do any particular task, but that's one way I do it. So anyways, okay, so we got the muzzle area done pretty well. Might make it a little skinnier. Kind of looks a little too wide. So let's grab all this stuff in here. not that. And then just go and grab there. And let's, I guess these as well. Scale those on the x-axis just a bit. Maybe increase our fall off of the proportional editing by scrolling our mouse wheel. Or you can page up, page down on your keyboard. It does the same thing. So let's go about right there. Maybe make it a little skinnier, drag it towards the center. And there we go. All right, let's go ahead and save that. And now we'll go ahead and jump in and, like I said before, do the eye sockets. So we cut those across there. We now have 4 vertices, or 4 faces instead of just the one. So we're going to extrude that in a little bit. There we go. Scale that. Let's go and turn off our proportional editing for now so we don't affect too much around it. Scale that down. Okay. And let me scale it just a little bit further down. We'll drag it in a little bit further and just go ahead and hit delete. We're going to delete those faces. No need to have them there. Let's add a loop right in here. Scale that down so we have a nice rounded eye socket there. Okay. And let's drag the top of the brow back just a bit, because I'd like to add another brow. So we'll grab these faces there and go and extrude that. And then Alt-S, scale it along its normals to make it a little skinnier. And you can see it went into the head a little bit, so we'll go ahead and drag that back out. And then let's kind of straighten it up with the vertices. And let's drag the I guess what would be the bridge of the nose. Let's make that a little smaller. Slope it inwards a little bit further. Okay. And I think it's one thing. I think it's sticking out a little too far. Let's just grab that and drag it back just a bit. And maybe lean it up a bit. Okay. Okay, so the face part of it is looking pretty good, I think. Let's make the rest of the head look just as good. Get the top of the head a little rounded off a little bit more. And let's tell you what, one thing that might make things a little quicker, go ahead and save that. Go ahead and use our sculpt mode again. Since I tabbed out of edit mode, it went right back into sculpt mode the way we were before. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of smooth the back of the head here. So it kind of, well, for one, makes it a lot faster than just trying to grab each individual vertex and shape it the way I think of in my head. Okay, so let's go ahead and add his ears, because that's looking kind of weird without his ears. So let's grab all these guys here, and we'll go and extrude, and then scale that down, and then we'll scale it on the y-axis so it's a lot skinnier. Drag that up, and we might even make them. Since it's going to be a cartoon puppy, he's going to have really big ears. So let's get the base of the ears quite a bit bigger. Okay, so we'll grab these again. Let's go ahead and just extrude out. There's 2 different ways you can extrude. I'm sure I've gone over it before, but you can hit E and just drag it out, or undo that. If you just hold Control and click, it'll automatically extrude out to where you clicked. So let's go ahead and scale that up. And as you know, Jack Russells have ears that are kind of floppy, so we'll need to compensate for that. Just make it a little skinnier there, and a little skinnier there. And let's just go ahead and kind of sculpt them out, or model them out to where they're not folded down just yet. So they're kind of a triangular shape, which we'll need to Let's make the base a little bit bigger again. Make sure we're grabbing the right ones. Okay, so let's go turn on our proportional editing and just drag that over, rotate it around, and then maybe grab the very top of his head, pull that up so it's not so flat. Okay, so now we can go in and start angling the ear a little bit better. Okay, so let's grab these faces here and let's go ahead and extrude them in and turn off Alt-O. Same thing as turning it off there, disabling. Proportional editing, scale that down. Okay. And the whole thing needs to be a little bit thinner, so let's select all of these guys in here and that loop there as well. And we'll just scale that on the y-axis to it until it's thinner. And now let's rotate it forward a little bit. And let's turn on our proportional editing yet again. Maybe add one more loop in there so it's a smoother transition. Okay, now let's add a couple of loops in here. And go ahead and grab the tip. And let's put our 3D cursor where we want the bend to be. So we'll put that about right there, and then there. Maybe a little further back. There we go. And we'll go ahead and hit period, and then we'll rotate around it. About like so. Okay, and we'll grab the bottoms of it there and go ahead and control comma back to the rotate around the selection rather than the 3D cursor. So just drag that up a little bit. You can see it's starting to look like a puppy dog. Alright. So let's grab that, drag that, smooth that back out a little bit. And let's clean up the top of the head here. You can see it looks a little messy. Let's grab that. Now, if you wanted to model the ears straight out like they were, and then just modify them with a rig later on, you could do that. But I'll go ahead and just add them as since they're probably going to be laying over for the most part, unless we model. We can rig them either way. And in any case, let's add one more loop right in here, just so I can add a little bit of deviation there at the bottom, kind of separate from the rest. And let's get these vertices in here. Let's add an actual opening in his ear so he can actually hear stuff. We'll go and extrude in just a little bit, and then Alt-S to scale that down. Maybe drag this out. Okay, so that's starting to look all right. Now, instead of the smooth tool, I'm going to use the grab tool. And that'll allow me to kind of just push and pull. It's real similar to using just an edit mode with the proportional fall off, but you don't have to look at the wireframe the whole time. You can just do it as you go. Okay, and I'm going to grab the smooth. Go ahead and clean some of this up again. Boom. And tell you what, let's go ahead and let's bend them down a little bit further. Maybe fold them back a little bit too. Okay, so starting to look good, I think. Now, like I said, it's a puppy, so I don't think the ears are quite as big as I would like them. So rather than try to make them bigger, I'm just going to make the head or the face, select all of that, just make that a little smaller, and just drag that back. So we'll see what that looks like. That's looking all right. And since it's a young thing, the eyes are generally a little bigger. So we'll make those a little bigger. And let's smooth out the socket area again. So one thing about cartooning that I've learned, if you make the eyes a little bit bigger, relative to the rest of the face, it tends to look more youthful, more babyish. So since we're dealing with a puppy here, we want that effect. So just maybe even a little bit bigger than that. Don't want them to look unnaturally big, of course, but as big as you can get them without looking freakish. So grab that whole section there, scale that down a little, drag it back. Okay, so I think that's looking okay for our just getting started off. We'll obviously be tweaking it once we get a little further, but we're running into 21 minutes now, a little over. And as you know me, I like to keep each part 20 minutes to, sometimes it gets up into the 30 minutes, but for now, 20 minutes will be fine. So that's going to be it for part 1 with Jacky Blender here. And in part 2, we'll go ahead and we'll probably tweak the face a little bit more. And then go on and start working on the body. So that's going to be it for part 1. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in part 2.